We're live.
Hello, and welcome to an episode of Keep Stream Skip. Woo! I am one of your hosts, Samantha.
I'm Juliana. We're doing so great.
Take it away.
And I'm Nick with a healing voice.
So we're going to try to minimize his talking, and we're going to talk a little more today.
Yes.
International Women's Day.
Yay! We need a little
Let me
bit
tell
of
you
that.
what it's about.
Oh, God. That was really
You want to
funny.
mansplain it?
I had to interrupt and then do a mansplain.
That's so funny.
All right. There's my jokes.
All right. So if you are joining us for the first time, just to let you know we do spoilers.
Spoilers.
And today, the first movie is going to be 9 to 5.
9 to 5.
We also go over the synopsis and rate the movie based on 7 different categories. And then we come together and we just talk about them as well as the plot lines and just funny moments in the movie.
And
Right.
nobody knows what they rated until we get here.
Yep.
Right.
a
To the very
secret.
end. Ooh.
Ooh.
It's a mystery.
It's a mystery, gang.
All right. So today is March 9th, 2025. And the reason why we give you the date is just because right now it's not streaming anywhere, the movie, but it could be streaming in the future when you're listening to this. We don't know because we're not psychics.
Right. Or it could be streaming now, and then by the time you listen, it's not. So,
Right. So,
don't hold us accountable.
so right now it's not streaming anywhere. You actually have to purchase it. So yay.
Yay. And what is it?
It's on sale.
9 to
that's-
5.
That's good.
Right.
It's $7.99 on Fandango or was it? I don't know.
Movies
I think so.
anywhere. Something. But it's on sale right today and only. I don't know about only today, but. All right. So 9 to 5 was made in the 1980s. It was rated PG. It's a comedy. Definitely a comedy.
Definitely a comedy.
The writer and director was Colin Higgins. Some actors were Dolly Parton, her first debut role, Jane Fonda, and Lily Tomlin. Okay, I'll just get into the budget. The budget was only around $10,000.
Million.
Oh, I thought it was 10,000.
No.
I saw 10 million.
Okay, so 10 million. Can't read decimal points apparently.
That was me with that one film like forever ago.
Well, the good news is that it made 103 million.
Yeah.
So even just under, take that 10 million, subtract that. That's what you get.
Yeah, do the fucking math.
In 1980s money too, which is interesting.
Right.
Yeah,
So
pretty
this
good.
was a hit.
Definitely.
and I can see why. It was good.
One other thing I wanted to mention is like writer. It had also Patricia Resnick.
Yeah, I had her listed too. I don't know.
I think just co-writer maybe.
Maybe.
co-writer. Because all I just found was the Colin Higgins writer and director. Because when he died, they actually were going to do a spin-off. Like, not a spin-off. They were actually going to a sequel.
Mm-hmm.
But then he died. So they were like, oh, well, I guess we can do it.
Oh,
So
that is sad.
that is very sad.
Patricia, come on. Where are you at?
All right. So let's go ahead and talk about the movie plot then.
Yes. I love the opening sequence. I have to mention that 9 to 5 plan.
Also,
the
we
heels.
do spoilers.
Oh, yeah.
We said
I forgot.
spoilers.
We did?
Yeah.
Oh
Because
man.
I went spoilers.
Oh well. Okay, at least I didn't. I was thinking like maybe she said it already, and I was like, oh god, did I miss it? I
No,
must have
she
been out to
said
lunch.
we do spoilers, and then I do my very typical weird
Oh.
saying of spoilers into the mic.
It's okay. It's a good reminder that we do spoilers.
Hey guys, we do spoilers.
I can't believe I missed that though. Oh my gosh.
Though. It's okay.
It happens.
I'm pretty sure I
Sorry.
missed that or something else before.
We do that all the time.
Yeah.
Well, you guys.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
That's true.
I never mess up ever.
As you can see, we're super honest on here.
Very
I like,
humble.
yeah, I think every episode we've done it like, hey, did you remember to say this? Yeah, I did. Oh. and earnestly do it almost every
Right.
episode.
Yeah,
one of
because
us.
when I go back and I edit, I do go back and make sure. Because like sometimes I'm like, oh, maybe we didn't. We can put that in there. But no, we always say it.
It's just our thing.
Yeah, one of them.
I feel like an elderly group just sitting there going, "Did you remember?"
Remember? Yes,
Yes, I remembered.
did it.
Shut up.
You should have a checklist.
Keep going. All right. Atta girl.
So opening sequence, 7 a.m. You see the clocks, alarm clocks going off at 7 a.m. And then we see a bunch of women go to work. And how we know they're women? Because they have the heels.
And the pantyhose.
With the pantyhose.
Stereotype.
I mean, this is the 80s.
When did you see men in heels, Nick?
The 1970s.
Okay, so
You
On
ever
their
see
way to
the-
work?
it could be.
You ever see the boot
be
heel
anybody.
on like Rocky? Where Sylvester Stallone
Okay,
had
well,
like
that's-
the
Oh, yeah.
biggest heels.
It's Rocky.
He's like trying to be all tough. He's like, hey, yeah. But it's like, dude, you
Reminds
got
me of
like,
somebody else.
you're going to go to the disco. I know that was in fashion back then, but yeah, a lot of guys wearing some big old heels. It was a good time for shorties. Because you could just be like,
That is true.
For them
Put on
short
the-
kings.
yeah.
It was in fashion to wear heels. I
yeah,
love it.
not so much
Anyhow,
anymore.
They were women.
Because they did
Allegedly.
they did pan up and you saw women.
No, I'm just messing with you guys.
They had the pointy boobs and everything.
And the shoulder pads.
They're pointy boobs.
And it's such a weird fashion statement of the times. But
Right.
Anyhow.
So then we finally get through this opening sequence, and then we get to the office where we see a woman come in, and she's brand new to the working force, Judy, and who is Jane Fonda. And Jane Fonda actually interviewed a lot of women who were in that situation because like her husband just divorced her. So she had to go get a job because now she's no longer
The housewife.
the housewife or trad wife, as they say them now. Because again, she now needs to go make a living and make her own money.
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't need no man.
Yeah.
Well, at the beginning, she was very nervous and stuff because it was, 12 years since she even had a job
Right.
because of it.
She's so cute, though.
But yeah. So we meet her, and then we meet Lily Tomlin's character, which was Violet.
Yes. And Violet is such a real one. She's so real. I love it. She's given that gossip on day one, like the office tea.
Right.
She's like, don't fucking talk to that bitch. She's sucking the boss's dick. Don't talk to her. She's sucking her dick.
Lily Tomlin's awesome. I got to show you when she went off on the director in I Heart Huckabees. Because, like, her character in this is just pretty much her in real life, I feel.
Well, when she was offered the part, she was actually doing the movie The Incredible Shrinking Woman. But they had allowed her to put that project on pause, like whatever studio was doing that, so she could specifically do this type of role.
Damn. Good for them. Good.
So-
Because she
rocked it.
She did.
I couldn't imagine anybody else doing her.
No.
Like, you have those movies that you're like, I cannot imagine anybody else doing these roles. Like
Yeah.
when we find out that like other people auditioned or
for it,
anything,
and you're like, nah.
no.
They just wouldn't hit that spot.
Yeah.
Right. So this definitely was like meant for her.
Right.
So we meet her. She's giving the office tea. And then we end up meeting Roz.
Pick me. Pick me, girl. Such a pick me.
She's the eyes, the ears, and everything else.
She's a rat.
Yeah,
She is the rat.
pretty much.
She's the, look at me. I'm doing my due diligence for the boss that nobody asked for.
right.
That's
Like,
very
Fucking
prevalent in the
tattling on
education
everyone.
world.
oh, I worked at a school that was like that. That was like the more that you went to the principal about what other people were doing, the better she liked you.
Ew.
I got out of there really quickly.
Yeah.
I don't play that game.
No, that's horrible.
So anyway, so I felt like really like, ick. I always feel ick when we talk about them. So then you see Mr. Hart, and Mr. Hart's the boss. And Mr. Hart, first thing that he comes out of his mouth, you girls, to do two grown women.
You girls.
Oh, you girls.
Girls.
I'm sorry.
And he comments on Judy's looks off the bat too. He's
Right.
like, I forgot what he said, but he's like, "Oh, you're a looker,
pretty.
aren't you pretty?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
All of my girls here."
all my girls. So then we,
That weird sense of ownership.
yeah.
That's the thing I don't like. I
That's
don't like that. I don't like when people try to own other people in the workplace. And
Or in-
it's-
or anywhere.
Well, yeah. Well, and the thing is like I hear this openly in dealing with other entities that my job has me have to deal with without going into specifics. And it's not just men who do this, women do this stuff too. Not to say that, both sides are
Right.
prevalently men will do this, but I've heard women do it. It just drives me. These are my employees. This is my school. You don't own any of this shit. Shut up.
Mm-hmm.
You are just the same cog in the same system, but they're like
This is my
trying
house.
to find some sort of extra power that don't belong to them. It's like they're making their own Kool-Aid and drinking it, you little Jim Jones weirdo.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, had to rant on that a little bit.
No, that's okay. So they go out of his office. They're both disgusted because Violet's always disgusted at him, but she needs the job just like Judy. Because Violet, we find out, is a single mom. I guess she's a widow. And so they go out there. Oh, that's after he says, "Go buy my wife a scarf."
Right.
And then
And
she's,
she's like, "That's not my job."
and he's like,
He's like, "Did I fucking ask?
I need you to be flexible and be a team
You
player.
need to be a team
Are you
player."
a team
Right in front of
player?
her colleagues.
Right.
Right.
So she like pretty much takes the card and was like, okay, whatever. Then then they leave, and then we meet Dora Lee, Dolly Parton. It's just she's like, I love seeing her act because she is like such a big presence in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? But she doesn't overshadow other people.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Like she's a big presence, but
Do you have a fun fact for this?
go ahead.
Oh, you don't? Oh, okay.
Maybe.
This was her first role ever in
Oh,
the
yeah.
movies.
She already said that.
When?
Not on here to you.
Oh, that.
Because
Wait, no, I thought you said it on here. It was her
Did I?
debut role.
Oh yeah,
Did
I
she?
did.
Yeah, she
Huh.
did when she was saying the actors.
I'm losing it.
That's
It's okay. It's okay. Because
If I get to 3, I definitely owe.
Because you know why? Because other people probably didn't hear me say that either.
No, I think I just completely missed it. You're giving me way too much of benefit of
Sorry.
the doubt.
Because I feel
The only thing I could think of is I was looking at my notes and then I was like, all right, and you said it and my brain just went, nah. So
You did get very excited about it.
yeah, because I was all like, oh, you said it?
Did you say it?
Why didn't you say something?
I'm sorry. I had to. I'm going back. I knew it.
It's
That's okay. I'd rather know that I'm losing my
It's okay.
mind. So, I had to be just like, I don't know. I'm
It's
in my
alright.
own space. I'm still
No.
trying to get better.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
okay.
I'll blame it
we
on being
understand that.
sick.
We
Yeah.
understand that. So we see her, and she's just come back from getting gas in his car, and they're all kind of like snooty. They're polite, but they're like very snooty.
Yeah, it's how you act around the girl that you think is like, I don't know. They all have that stigma that she's
a whore,
a whore sleeping with the boss,
right?
like whatever.
The
So they
mistress.
have that, ooh, we're better than you kind of
Yeah, we would never do
attitude
that.
towards her immediately, like
Well-
off the bat without knowing anything.
Well, and then like Judy doesn't find out yet, but Violet knows. And Judy's seeing how Violet's acting towards her. And, she's looking up to Violet as a mentor at this point because she's like, oh, here's this lady who's really cool. She knows what she's talking about. She's being standoffish to this other lady. Like, oh, okay, well, I'll do it too. But then when she finds out, when Violet finally spills the beans,
Spill the beans.
and says that like, oh, she's sleeping with the boss or whatever. Judy then literally like is the one who starts spreading rumors because remember she was like eating lunch with, and she's like, oh, can I go have lunch with you? No. But I get what she's coming from because that's why her husband left her, was because it was for the secretary.
Right. So like she's in a place of like if you are, because that would be the not being a girl's girl kind of
Right.
situation. The secretary is sleeping with the boss who
Right.
they know is married. That would not be a girl's girl. So Judy's like, yeah, no, I'm not messing around with that.
Mm-hmm.
If you're not a girl's girl, I don't want to be around you, which is valid. However, it's all perpetrated by rumors and gossip and not fact.
Right.
Because poor Dora Lee, sweet as pie.
Right.
And actually very assertive against the boss. Every time she interacted with him, she was just like, okay, no nonsense.
Right, because he does sexually harass her
Constantly.
even within what the first scene with them was not even 5 minutes, and it was 10, 15 times that he was like, oh, stand up, turn around, you got something on there,
And there's
turn
still
around.
guys like that. They're that over the top.
Yes.
It's not hyperbolic.
No, it's not. And then they have the audacity to be like, what am I doing wrong? There's nothing that I'm doing wrong in this situation.
Yeah.
All I've done is this.
I just wanted to see what was on your shirt.
Right. I was
On the
just
back
trying
of
to
your
help
shirt.
You. I don't know why you would be acting like this.
Yeah.
Rage.
So then
Yeah.
she goes into the Xerox machine. Not no. That
She
makes
goes
sense.
into
She goes in,
She goes inside
the
the
Copyright.
room.
Xerox machine.
She goes into the room with the Xerox machine, a 1980s Xerox machine. And, Violet's like, oh, this is how you do it. It should be pretty simple. Of course, when Violet leaves, all hell breaks loose. And Judy, all these papers are just
It's like the chocolate scene from
yeah,
I Love Lucy.
where it just keeps on coming and everything's just coming out and you're just so overwhelmed. And then, of course, Hart comes in at that time and is like, why didn't you just turn it off?
Yeah. Obviously, it's not easy. It's your first day, and your mentor left you to leave, to fucking work the Xerox machine on your own. Can you not fucking handle it?
Right.
So that was a real Xerox machine, you said.
Yeah, I looked it up. And it was crazy because it was super huge.
Yeah. It had this collating thing that was in the back for each little basket, I guess, to deliver to other floors or something.
Yeah.
But the thing looked like it was fake because of how the buttons were and the lights that they had.
Maybe it was just the sound effects of it
Yeah, I guess.
making
Right.
it seem fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was definitely because I had made sure to look it up in 1980s Xerox machines.
It's like the high point of copying technology was just
Everybody was after that, if I was in 1980s and I saw that on the big screen and I was a business person, I'd be like, oh, I need to get myself one of those.
because it's going out of whack.
Well, no, not because it's going out of whack.
I mean,
because
it
of
did
all
look
the
pretty cool.
capabilities,
Yeah.
the collating thing.
That's true. That was pretty trippy.
That does look pretty cool.
Now it's all on the inside and you can't see any of that fun stuff.
I want to see it. I want to see it with my
Ooh,
eyes.
it clear. Okay, anyway, getting off topic.
Anywho, Xerox. She gets yelled at.
So, of course, again, coming where she's coming from, first day, overwhelmed, everything's going to shit, and she starts to cry, and I feel,
me too.
I felt for her at that point,
Yeah.
because again, overwhelmed.
See, I
Yeah.
think everybody's personality is represented by one of the three. Because Lily Tomlin would have been like, I'm going to kick that son of a bitch's ass. And then you have the one that's trying to hold it together. And then the quiet sweet, but could be triggered into a complete and utter crime. You know?
Right?
Who's who? I know who Nick is.
So then it cuts to, Judy coming home. She's already kind of agitated a little bit. And then, of course, who the fuck do you see? Who does she see on her doorstep? Her ex-husband.
Oh my God, the rage that would send me into. With
And-
his mistress.
in
the
the
car.
car.
Fuck that noise.
And then he's like, here's some papers. I just need you to sign them and give them to your lawyer.
How are you doing? Are you doing all right?
I like
hate
how he's
that.
like, I got a job. Fantastic.
Fantastic.
That's great.
Atta girl.
Good
That's so
for
good
you.
for you. Shut the actual bug up.
Yeah.
Right?
It's just bad.
You lost the right to have any conversation, any small talk when you cheat.
Oh.
Bye.
Also, he was like Gabney's character. He was sleeping with his secretary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. So, then we get to, did we go back to the office? I guess it was the next day.
Yeah, because they go into the office and talk to him about the color coding.
Right. Valley goes in and says, "Oh, did you get my thing on the color coding? That's going to be proficient and productive." He's like,
very much did not read it.
He was like, "Oh,
He's
yeah."
like,
No.
yeah.
So what does a motherfucker do?
Steals her fucking idea.
Finds the report, gives it to his boss, and passes it off on his own.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck?
Yep. To not be taken seriously and then to have your ideas just straight up stolen. Like,
in front of your face?
Yeah. After you were just, like, blatantly not taken seriously. Like, oh, right. Okay, honey. Yeah, I'll read that.
This is where we find out, too, that she was the one who trained him for his job.
Yep.
And again, got passed up for promotion, probably because she was a woman.
Yes. So,
Yes. That's exactly what happened.
solely because she was a woman.
Right.
Because that's how she gets passed up later on as well.
Right. So then we get to, we cut to her garage. She is installing she is a massive woman who is amazing. She is installing a garage door opener in her freaking garage with her son. And her son's like, "Oh, okay, cool." Like, and then he's like, "Mom, you should just have some pot."
Yeah. Mom, you should just smoke a joint, dude, and then you'll be like chill. She's like, no. And put it in my purse.
Yeah, because like one of the things that like the son did say was like, "You just say harm comes from excess. I'm not doing it excessively."
I missed that line. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, but if you think about it, harm does come from excess.
Yeah, excess anything.
Excess candy,
Excess meth.
Yeah, that's a good one too.
Moving on.
So then that's when that's the next scene is where she gets passed up for the promotion,
Right.
by that other man, and she's like, "What you did here, da da da," and he's like, "Well,
my hands are tied."
and she's like,
They will be.
and she's like, "You fucking bastard." Not really. She didn't use.
She didn't want to lose her job, but like, still, fuck you, dude.
Right. Like, she's been working there more like 5 years. And then what was his excuse? "Oh, well, he went to college." So while I was on the job getting experience and doing freaking your job, I get passed over.
Right. Oh, he has a family.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry. I'm not a single mother taking care of my son and my mom.
Right. Sons. I think she had more than one kid, right? I thought she had children.
I
They're
only saw
out there
the
playing
one.
with mommy.
Or her grandma.
No.
I don't know.
I don't know. Anywho, that doesn't matter. She still has a family.
Right. So then she goes outside. She's all riled up and she sees Dora Lee, and Dora Lee says something to her, and she's like, "Oh, well, you're sleeping with the boss."
And Dora Lee's like,
"Excuse
what?
me?
No?
Who would say that?" And they march into the office, and he's like, "Well, I'm not saying that. Why would I say that?"
I love Dora Lee in this moment because she's like, I've been putting up with your fucking bullshit, the pinching and the chasing around the room and the inappropriate comments, and I swear to God, I have a gun in my purse and I will use it.
"And I am going to change you from a rooster to a hen."
Yes,
I love that
one
line.
shot. It's so good.
And that's where
Trigger warning.
Oh yeah, trigger warning.
Trigger
Get
warning. Yeah. A little too late. Okay.
So, but then this is where we see the drunk woman.
I'm trying. I am trying.
Now, did anybody get the name of the drunk woman?
The one who just says "atta girl."
Right. Well, because like we first see her in the locker, like taking a sip, and then she's like, "Oh, it's for medicinal purposes."
Right.
I think at the very beginning.
Atta girl woman. I don't know. Margaret, maybe. She looks like a Margaret.
Yeah. Let's go with Margaret.
Margaret.
Yeah. So then, of course, like after that whole pass off for promotion thing, Lily, Violet's like, you know what? I'm going to Charlie's. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to go get myself a drink.
Atta girl.
Atta girl. And then Dorothy comes stomping out of the office after she had that whole thing with him. And she's like, I'm going to go have a drink.
Atta girl.
And then Judy's like, well, I'm just going to go. Oh, wait, that's when Maria gets fired.
Right.
There was a girl who got fired for talking about her salary.
Guess who snitched?
Oh, I don't know.
Ross.
And funny enough, you can't get fired for that ever since like 1934.
Yeah, that's a wrongful
That's like
termination.
against wrongful termination.
Huh.
Now, did he care? No.
No. Was anyone actually going to call him on any of his shit?
No.
Yeah. Anytime a company tells you they have that policy and it's legal, it's not.
Right. So stand up for your rights and talk about your salary.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyway. So they get to so Judy's like, oh, well, I got to go tell Violet this. I think she just wanted to leave the office.
Yeah.
And go get herself a drink.
Violet's at the bar. Oh, darn. I guess I'll go to the bar. So they're all drinking.
Right. And this is where they find out that Dora Lee wasn't an office whore.
Right.
Where he was just,
I don't like that they don't give her an apology.
Right. I mean,
being
an
so
apology,
mean to
like,
her.
hey, I'm sorry. I thought you were a whore.
What?
I'm just picturing them be like, when they find out the truth, they're just like, oh, well, okay.
Sure. It checks. Moving on.
But let me tell you what I'm going through.
Yeah. Poor Dora.
I mean, they had a common hate. So,
Yeah.
I think that was the key.
Right.
right. So this is, so they're all like ranting and raving at a bar, which you usually do with your colleagues or girlfriends, you know, and, Violet remembers that she has her pot cigarette in her purse that her son put in there. And the funniest thing was like, and then Violet's like, oh yeah, let's go. And, I forgot who said it, but like, she's like, oh, you got a pot. And she's like, stop saying it so loud. I don't have enough for everybody.
Yeah, Violet was like, I don't have enough for everyone, so shh.
So they go back to Dora Lee's house because her husband's out of town. Obviously, you don't want to be doing that on a bar or in public, even in the 80s. And so they start just like, gabbing, drinking, smoking.
You've never been on the metro in Boston, because let me tell you, they'll just sit there.
Yeah.
I think they were completely legalized, except for federally, of course.
Yeah.
When? What?
Yeah, Massachusetts?
In Massachusetts?
Yeah, I think weed's like completely legal.
Even on like public transportation?
Probably not, but
I mean,
Yeah.
who's to say?
Who's right?
Was it like vaping?
I mean, nobody said anything.
It's like that gray
Huh?
area.
Was it like straight up a joint, or was it?
Yeah. Dude
Really?
was just sitting there on the metro.
Wow.
We walked in, we were like, ooh, that's something. That's something
Wow.
strong. And he was sitting there. We turn over, the door's closed, and he's just puffing away. And we were like, oh, he's hotboxing on the metro. We're all
That
now
is a choice.
subject to this.
I endorse the Boston Weed Party. it's just like no taxation without hotboxing.
Is that a thing? Well, I'm making it a thing.
I'm making it a thing. It's a Boston thing.
So they eventually get talking, and all three of them have fantasies about killing the boss because, let's face it, who at one point or another has thought about that?
Girlhood.
Yeah. So it was funny. So the fantasies happen, and it was funny because all their fantasies came true.
The poisoning,
The poisoning,
The
the
tying
rope
up.
tying,
Yeah.
and the gun.
and the gun. Shooting at him with a gun. You're
Yep.
so right.
Did they kill him?
No.
But
I'm trying to think of the third one. What was the third? Okay, tie up. What was the gun?
yeah, because she was.
Okay, yeah.
There was a chase, and then she had
Yeah.
like the gun, and
I'm trying to think which one came from what.
Judy
Each
had.
one from their
I know.
own.
Yeah, 'cause
Judy had the gun.
yeah, for the shotgun, for the pistol or
Right.
revolver, and then the poisoning was Lily Tomlin's character.
Right. And then the hog tying was when
Remember
she
had
ripped
like the cowboy rope.
when
Right.
she
But I
ripped.
thought she was the shooting and the tying.
No, she didn't shoot.
Yeah, but what was the other ones? Like Judy's
Doralee, Dolly Parton's, she had the rope tying.
Right. But
Right.
what about the shooting?
Judy was the shooting.
Judy was
They
She had the
both had shooting?
shotgun.
no.
Oh my gosh. Yes. Okay. I was envisioning my brain meld those two things together because she kind of looked like a
Because
cowboy.
she kind of did look like a cowboy
Yeah,
sitting in
and
that
I was
chair.
like-
She was supposed to be like a jungle hunter.
That yes,
attire.
like a colonist, British.
Yeah, with the hat
explorer.
and the like explorer. Da-da.
Right.
Yeah, because all of a sudden my brain's like, oh yeah, that was totally jeez, that was Jane Fonda, dude. All right, then we'll just mark that down as 3 for me.
No, that wasn't even.
I was just spaced out on the film.
That doesn't even count. So their 3 fantasies came to fruition. Okay, and so Violet's was first, where she grabbed because she had to go buy rat poisoning for the office, And the Skinny and Sweet is the sweetener that they use instead of Sweet and Low. Had the same exact box of the rat poisoning, so she accidentally grabbed it. Yes, she did accidentally grab it. Okay.
Was Skinny and Sweet like another commentary thing, you think? Because it had like a ballerina on it, and it's supposed to be skinny and sweet, like commentary on how men want women to be.
Probably.
Because it's a made-up
Probably.
product, but I'm like, that seems very...
Well, because like Sweet and Low was popular at the time, so Skinny and Sweet, and she did talk about diets and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like there was extra commentary that was subtle.
Probably.
I just didn't know if there was a fun fact tied to it because I didn't get too deep into it.
Nope. They just, because it was the same kind of box. The only thing that they said really about the Skinny and Sweet box is that Jane Fonda stole it.
She did.
Yeah, the rat poisoning one
Oh my God.
That's
That's so
funny.
funny.
at the end of production. So then they rush her. So she serves him the cup of coffee with the rat poisoning in it, not knowing it's rat poisoning. He then falls down because of the stupid chair that doesn't get fixed.
I love that running gag.
And so he gets rushed to the hospital. Nobody understands why. Violet comes back from like probably buying him something and realizes, oh shit, I put rat poisoning in his coffee. It wasn't Skinny and Sweet. Rushes to the hospital. He's already been released, but a guy hasn't that actually
Went into
died.
the same room that actually died from a poisoning.
Right. So of course, like it starts the comedy of errors
So
where
funny.
it's like, oh, now I got to get this body out because I don't want them to do an autopsy because they're gonna find the rat poisoning.
Right. And they're going to somehow connect that back.
Well, she had the box with her.
Right. I don't know why they kept carrying the box around.
Just like Weekend
And
at
then like
Bernie's.
playing
Just keep
hot
on.
potato with it.
It was probably just like, that I think that was her first reaction was to grab it and be like, oh, I'll just say that and then it's like, oh shit, now I can't say that I did it. Now I'm gonna get
Right.
arrested.
Right.
And was it really an accident after we just talked about that shit?
Right. But who were the witnesses?
But-
Just those 3.
Right. So it's just a funny comedy thing. So then she steals a body, finds a doctor's
Yeah, slips into
Coat.
the laundry room, finds the doctor's coat, takes the body to her car, chucks it in the trunk,
gets into an accident in the car.
realizes
That
it's not their
right
boss.
body.
It's not the right body. They just stole a body.
Then their brilliant idea was, oh, we'll just bring her back to the hospital, put her in a wheelchair.
Stick it in
Nobody's
a
gonna
bathroom?
know.
Question mark? What was it that lady came in? She like walked
got
in,
another
she saw
one.
him, she goes,
We got another.
she kind of like nods and then like walks out. Hey, there's a stiff in the bathroom.
We got another stiff in the bathroom.
Yeah.
We got another.
Like it happens every other day.
I think I laughed at that for so long.
The funniest thing though is like when she's talking to the candy striper, and like candy striper's like, "Oh, where's the cafeteria?" And "Oh, you're so nice. Oh, you're a doctor.
All right, I'm a doctor.
I'm a doctor. So why the hell are you why am I talking to you?"
Yeah, I don't have to talk to you. Fuck off. Oh, it's so good.
Speeds off.
Yeah, pretty much.
So good.
Because she's trying to steal a body, and this girl's talking to her.
Right.
What else can she say? So then, so then he comes back the next day. Time speeds up. They go back the next day. He walks right into the office. Everybody's like, what the fuck?
Right. Everyone's like, "What? He's here. Okay. So we're good." But where do they go to talk about it?
In the bathroom.
In the bathroom.
Now, anybody that's ever been in a public bathroom needs to talk gossip. You don't look under the stalls. You open the stalls up to make sure nobody's in there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Snooping.
Yeah.
Like Roz.
Mm-hmm. And even in the beginning, she says, oh, you got to look under the stall. No,
For Roz's
bitch.
shoes.
You got to open the stalls.
Yep, because there she is writing everything on toilet paper.
Right. So then who does she go and tell? The boss, Hart.
Right.
So now he finds out everything that was been going on. And he's like, oh, I'm going to call the police now.
Well, he tries to sexually extort Dora Lee with the information.
I forgot about that part.
Yeah.
Oh, come over my place.
Yeah.
My wife's not there.
You better come over to my place. Or else I'm going to arrest your
call
friend
the cops.
for trying to murder me.
Well, I like how he initially doubts Roz because, like, did they not know you were in there? Are you sure? Because this looks like they're just messing with you.
Like
No.
It's so over the top.
It can't be. And I would have maybe just played that off too. Like, oh, we knew she was in there once they found out that he knew that they knew.
Right. But I know.
Would it really have had the same comedy effect?
No.
Plus they had to like
It would have been
kidnap him anyway.
It would have been a sitcom episode. Doodle doo 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 doo.
But no, they instead hog tie him to the chair.
Try to shoot him.
Completely appropriate.
Completely appropriate reaction. And then they do throw him back in the trunk.
They do throw him in the trunk, take him to his house because his
his
wife is
on
out
a
of town.
4-week cruise.
Right.
By herself.
By herself.
That's
Because he
suspicious.
didn't want to go.
Right.
Yeah,
Remember, she presented it to him.
He's
I
like,
know.
oh, I can't leave for 4 weeks.
4 weeks on a boat? Are you stupid?
Meanwhile, the wife would have probably given him money like she does anyway. Because as far as I knew it, like all that money was hers. Right? That's what I got from the thing.
I have no idea. What?
Makes sense. That one guy making all that money for that kind of house.
Yeah.
And taking a 4-week cruise.
Because there was somebody who said something, alluded to the fact that his wife had money. She was the one with the money. So then all that shit happens. They got hogtied. They set him up with different gear so he's not roaming around the house. S&M gear plus a pair
M&M gear.
M&M gear.
See, that was so funny.
So then keeps going. They're starting to make some changes. No, they don't start making changes. The husband comes to the house.
Well, they did start making changes before the husband came to the house, right? They started making all those new rules.
Right. And they actually found out that he was embezzling money from the company.
Right, which they were
Expose
waiting
him
on
on.
the documentation. They were keeping him like hostage, waiting on the documentation to prove so that they could cancel out what he had on them.
Now, my question is there really a crime when he's at his own house?
The kidnapping?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's false imprisonment.
Oh, okay.
I guess we'll find out.
I'm not going to find out.
Yeah.
Okay. So that
Hold on, is that why there's a person in y'all's bedroom right now?
Well, not false imprisonment, but what do you call it? There's a term.
is
for
it like against the
Wrongful
will?
imprisonment?
Well,
against their own will
Yeah,
or
it's against their
something?
will. I want to say false. It might be false imprisonment, but I don't know if that's.
I feel like false imprisonment is when you put somebody in prison falsely.
Sometimes they'll put I don't know.
Wrongful holding.
Wrongful holding.
Well, they realize they're
I
not
don't
going to get the paperwork for the inventory that was supposedly in that warehouse for 4 to 6 weeks. So they're like, "Oh crap, we got to rig him up this little thing to keep him in there for like 4 to 6 weeks." Well, during the time, they start to make some changes, positive changes for working atmosphere. They were being boss bitches
Yes.
in a good way,
Yes.
like flexible time, daycare, job
Salary
sharing,
increase.
salary increase.
Personal items.
Okay. You're allowed to have personal items on your desk. They changed the color of the office.
It wasn't brutalist.
Yeah.
Right. You didn't want to like go in and kill yourself
Yeah.
because it was devoid of all color.
Yeah.
So then all that's happening, and then Dick comes to the house. Well, no,
Dick.
he stalks Judy.
Right.
'Cause
This is her ex-husband, not
Right.
just a random dick.
Yeah.
That's his name.
So they kind of like he's
Ding
like
dong, who's there?
he's like, oh,
Unsolicited
it's
dick.
me.
It's Dick.
It's your husband. Oh, what? So of course he's like, oh, I thought you'd be happy to see me. He was way too full of himself.
Yeah.
And he's like,
of course,
It,
as
it
any
didn't
man
work
who
out.
realizes.
It didn't work out. She actually,
She left me like a weekend.
yeah. Oh, poor baby.
Yeah, I would have been like, fucking, where's the dick chomper?
So then while they're having their little thing downstairs, upstairs is where Mr. Hart is, and he makes noise because he's trying to like
Cut himself loose. He just like cut through the handcuffs.
right. And so of course now he's like, what the fuck is happening here?
She's like an athletic wear too.
Yeah.
So
What in the
funny.
world?
And he's like,
You're into
You're into
bondage?
BDSM?
you're into bondage and S&M and sex game.
Well, the funny thing is when she's like, what?
And then she's like, yeah.
I'm into M&Ms.
I love Eminem.
Such a good
It's like,
line.
what?
Yeah.
So then he's like, oh, I thought you would be begging for me to come back. And she's like, get out now. I don't need you. Because she doesn't.
Right. Yeah.
She has M&Ms now.
She has
She's
Eminem
got
now.
M&Ms.
Go Judy. We love it.
Right. So then,
Melts in your mouth, not in your hand.
all right. So then that happens. And then Dory Lee gets a call from his wife being like, oh, thank you for the flowers. I know it was you who sent it to me. Yeah, he just sent me to a hotel for like another week.
Yeah, he's doing this weird gym thing. You should see what he did to the bedroom. And she's like, click.
And then she's like, wait, how long have you been home? She's like, 3 days ago. Holy shit. Things about to come down.
Right. What has he been doing for 3 days? If he's been, because they called Judy. Judy's like, no, he's been here the whole time.
So he's
all
been
trapped
making
up.
it seem like he'd been there the whole time. Or at least
Or he's been there the whole
he's
time.
been there, but he was free.
He was free. And what was he doing?
Getting all the inventory back.
So that he couldn't get embezzlement charges.
But how did he get all that inventory back?
He had to pay for it. He said
Okay.
so.
From his wife's pocket.
Probably.
Yeah.
There's a whole montage we didn't see.
Yeah.
He's like, working 9 to
Putting boxes back on shelves.
Although they check the serial numbers.
There you go.
Ooh,
But
that's very investigative.
right. But were they really
Where's your detective hat?
So then that comes. So then, of course, like when the paperwork comes, she just like flings it to him. She's like, well, this is worthless. Piece of shit, pretty much.
Yeah.
And he's like, haha, I won. Well, then the big boss person, the big chairperson comes and he's like,
Colonel
oh,
Sanders.
yeah,
Colonel
pretty much.
fucking Sanders for sure.
And he's pretty much like, ooh, I like what you've been doing here. You've been doing this job sharing, this daycare. Why don't you talk about it? And Hart's like, Violet, why don't you talk about it? You know, you're my right-hand man.
Right, this is my right-hand man right here. What is the job sharing? What is that?
So then the guy, he loved everything except for the freaking salary part.
Right, of
Equal
course.
pay. I don't like that.
I know.
Well, of course we can't be doing that because fuck them women, right?
They get paid less anyway, so what the fuck?
Yeah.
So then he does this whole speech about like, oh, I need somebody like you on my team. And he's like, oh, really? Yeah, in Brazil.
For 2 years.
Oh.
And he's like, what? I just can't go. And he's like, well, you'll be there for like after the 2 to 3 years. You'll want to stay. What? Bye.
Bye-bye. The women running the business now.
Now, I wonder if also, I know there was that guy, you know, the creepy guy going around like making notes. That was part of.
Oh
that-
yeah, the
that
guy
was
who's
part of
also the psychiatrist in
right.
Terminator.
That I know that was like it comes to terms because he was with him. That was like the boss man's right hand person or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, he was auditing.
Right. And so I wonder if he, like, for some reason, why in Brazil? But I'm wondering if that's where I don't even know Colonel Sanders' name, the guy.
I don't know any of their names. You got Colonel Sanders. You got Margaret, who is a changed woman.
I put Big Boss chairperson. I wonder if he knew what was going on with the whole scam, and that's why he transferred him specifically to Brazil.
I don't know. He just looked
But
like
that might
the
have been a
old
little
Miss mascot.
Yeah.
Old Myth.
Yeah, they have a plantation owner
Oh.
as their. Yeah, if you look at it, it's basically just. I think they call him Rebel or whatever.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Ole Miss. Check it out.
Oh. I don't think I want to.
So then that's where the movie ends, and then they give us little clips at the end of what happened afterwards. Like Violet got promoted to VP. Judy, I don't know what happened to Judy.
What happened to Judy? Can't remember.
Judy fell in love with the Xerox person.
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dorley quit, and she is now a country and western singer.
Because
She's Dolly Parton.
They've replaced him.
And then, of course, then they show us what happened to Hart, and Hart's been pretty much went to Brazil, and then literally been missing for the past like years or whatever.
Yes. They replaced the plantation owner, but yes, he
See what I
their
mean? He looks
mascot.
just like the boss.
for a while, and oh no.
Yeah.
So that was 9 to 5. So now we're gonna judge it based on. First one is screenplay.
Okay. I went with a 8 out of 10. I really liked it. I thought it was very funny. I did think like the story plot took like a lot of turns throughout. Like it just kept changing where we were going, which was fun. But yeah, it was a little silly.
I gave it a 10 out of 10 just because it kept on changing.
Yeah.
And it was just very fun.
Very fun.
Very fun.
And very funny.
Yes.
Like
it
a-
was very it
Like
was,
a lot of the jokes like were actually funny. Like,
Yes.
you know, some of those jokes, like sometimes you watch a movie and you're like, haha.
Yeah. They weren't overplayed. Like
Right.
one of the first ones Dolly Parton said at the beginning, being like, "Oh yeah, it's my fault. Next time there's a you asked me to go with you to a convention, I should definitely check if there's a convention."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a great one.
Very funny.
No, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Everything worked. It didn't last too long of certain things. What I really appreciated was getting enough of their background without it being like, oh, now we
In
got to
your
do
face.
some more, exposition for this character. All right,
Right.
okay, now we're back to the funny stuff. And it was very quick and snappy, and there wasn't any dull moments, and that
Right.
was I commend it. It's very good.
Yeah.
Right.
What about direction?
I gave it a 10 out of 10
Me too.
because it was just amazingly directed. Everybody knew what they were supposed to do and when to go over the top and when to hold it back and stuff.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 only because it wasn't like something spectacular or wow, that was, jaw dropping or whatever. It was just very good. So I was like, I want, nothing. If there is something wrong, I didn't catch it or the cast was able to act through it.
Mm-hmm.
Overall, it's great.
Yeah.
Well, going along with that, acting, I gave it 10 out of 10 primarily because of that. Because every single person, even the drunk lady,
Margaret.
acted the shit out of her role because she
Yes.
actually was clean and sober by the end because the company had,
Yeah.
in Hart's absence, like made this alcoholics rehabilitation program. And like she even played that well, So like I feel like all the actors brought it and it was just done really well, that they meshed well together.
It really was. I thought the acting was also 10 out of 10. I love that the boss could be he's so spot on with just the male entitlement of being a boss in a female-dominated workspace, of course.
When I thought also you saw their range too in the fantasies.
That's what I was just about to say, right? Because when the roles were like reversed for him, he did such a good
He
job.
did.
He did so good.
You don't like my tie?
You know, okay.
You're gonna need to take that
I'm
off.
married. Okay, like.
Loosen up a little. So
Yeah,
funny.
I loved him.
Yeah, Dabney Coleman, he recently passed away, and he really nailed it as far as this part. Everybody did a fantastic job. I mean, you have Jane Fonda, you have Lily Tomlin, and then, of course, Dolly Parton, just so damn good
Especially
for a
for
debut role like this.
Right.
I mean, the only one I thought that did just as good as Leif Schreiber for Mixed Nuts, even though it's considered one of the worst Christmas films ever, apparently. But yeah, 10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10.
Cinematography.
See, this is where I kind of gave it a basic score, which was a 7, because there was nothing really
It wasn't like game night.
unique.
Yeah.
Like, even in the flashbacks, that's why I didn't give it a 5. At first I was going to give it a 5, but then like the flashbacks, like they had the different coloration and stuff like that. So I gave it a little more points for that, but everything else was just kind of basic.
Oh, I gave it an 8.
You're good.
Yeah, for like pretty much same reasons.
Same thing, just 7.
Nice.
Just 7.
Just 7. What about editing?
Editing, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Thought it was well paced. There wasn't any dull moments. There wasn't any moments where it sped up kind of fast.
Mm-hmm.
I gave it an 8 out of 10. I feel like certain parts flowed really well. Certain parts I felt like were just a little too long. But that was just...
I gave it a 7 out of 10. What's interesting is this film was actually 2 hours. And just short of it. And it made it feel like it was a very fast film, because it's like at certain parts I was like, kind of wanted that a little longer. But I'm trying to struggle on how we got to 2 hours for a film that normally would be like an hour and a half, hour 40 minutes, but still seem like it went by pretty quick.
Yeah.
So there's parts where I want to credit him for it or her for it. I don't look up who the editor was, but it's kind of got both things going for it. And then there's some things that go against it. So I wanted it to rate higher, but ended up just sticking with 7. I mean, I could be pushed to be 8, but I'll stick with 7.
Right.
All right.
What about music? I gave that one an 8 out of 10. I love 9 to 5. I mean, I could give it 10 out of 10 for just 9 to 5.
I think there was some regular old background stuff.
There was the silly music when she was pushing the dead body through the hospital. They had flashback music that tailored to each of their individual flashbacks, like the Disney princess type music for the one and the Wild West music for Dolly. And I forgot what Judy's was. See,
I gave it a 10 out of 10 because I had to ask that question. Now, normally, if I have to be like, understand that there's more music to there, then that's a problem, because then I realize that something's off.
See, for me, when I'm listening, if I get swept away and emotional from the score, which I don't feel like that doesn't happen as frequently as it should, but like, I don't know, Interstellar, Inception, like those movies, the score just really builds on it. Like Christopher Nolan's Batman movies come to mind for some reason. The score in those are like,
Yeah. Yeah, like kind of like Beetlejuice or Beetlejuice. I really liked what Danny Elfman did with the theme. Made it a little bit more modern, but kept it very classic.
Yeah.
So with the music, like Dolly Parton got a Oscar nom, didn't she? Mm-hmm. So she had that. And I ended up giving it an 8 out of 10. I mean, it's nothing that's like woo, yay, but you got to hand it to Dolly for, again, just debut, and she's just nailing it everywhere.
Well, like her part of her contract, what in most of her movie, well, all movies except for one, was that she would do a song for it. And every movie was like, yeah, sure, except for Steel Magnolias, which I've never seen it, but what I've heard about it, I don't know where she would have had a song put in there for her, because she's, you know, kind of like the pop upbeat country music, you know?
Just inserts 9 to 5 somewhere.
9 to 5.
Well, one of her other movies, Straight Talk, I love too. She does the music for that too, and I just love those songs. They just get me right to work, ready for work.
Yeah, I listen to 9 to 5 frequently.
All right, special effects.
Not much except for those cutscenes.
Yeah.
Those and the birds.
Yeah, I did give it a 6 for those. I liked the old nostalgic feeling I got watching it, but like watching his head spin around reminds me, there's like a TikTok trend that happened recently where people were editing their videos to do that, and it looked not good. Like, not a lot of people could do it right, and so it was like really choppy and whatever. You could tell that wasn't his head half the time when he was turning. Like, it was a different guy. I don't know if you caught that, but I was like, okay. It was silly. I liked it, but I was like, it's not good.
See, I gave it a 10 out of 10. Because for the time, 1980, and having that, like, you especially saw it when they did the cartoon characters and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was just, in my opinion, flawless for that time, you know? And yes, that head spinning thing was kind of silly, but again, like, I kind of gave it a little grace because
of the time
time period, because they didn't have a lot of stuff that we have today to make it look better,
right,
and stuff. So
fair enough.
I gave it a 7 out of 10. Also, it was kind of interesting, like how everything had infinite ammo.
Oh yeah, that too.
That was like, I know the dream sequence makes sense because, you know, it's a dream sequence, but then like the revolver, I was like, wow, keeps on going.
It just keeps going.
Although I think she had 1 shot left. I mean, if you really counted it, but yeah.
All right. Overall, I gave it a 9 out of 10.
I gave it an 8.
I gave it an 8.
And I said to keep it. I really liked it. I thought it was funny.
I said to keep it.
Definitely keep it, especially since this is like, I mean, it hits a soft spot for me for unionism.
Unionism, feminism.
Yeah.
Like, knowing that, yeah, your circumstances may seem dismal, but you need to organize and freaking get it.
Yeah. Don't sit on the sidelines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Get off your ass and pay your dues and get in the meetings. Be involved. Don't let them tell you otherwise. Don't be a Roz.
Don't be a Roz.
Yeah.
All right, when we come back, we will be doing Promising Women.
Promising young woman.
Sorry.
Yes.
The promise of a woman.
Whatever it is. Girl.
Meaning, we need to go get drunk.
Yes.
And we're back.
Atta girl.
Atta girl. I need a drink.
So, a promising young woman.
Promising young woman.
It's about a 1700s Victorian era debutante. No,
Who is promising things.
Promising.
if only someone would lend me their promises.
Actually, the title is a little fun fact in of itself that it's likely a reference to Brock Turner's case because he was let off after 6 months because he was a promising young man with a bright future ahead of him.
Yeah, that's...
So,
Yeah.
you know. Anyhow, so that leads us into...
I heard Brock Turner votes for Trump. Associative? Maybe.
I would be very shocked if he didn't. If he was like, actually, I voted for Harris, I'd be like, no, you didn't.
Yeah.
No.
No, we know who you voted for. All right. Promising Young Woman, film from 2020. It is rated R, and it is labeled a thriller, or like a crime thriller. Written and directed by Emerald Fennell. with actors like Carey Mulligan, Bo Burnham, and Alison Brie.
And Adam Brody.
And Max Greenfield. I love him. He was Joe. He's a new girl. I love him.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting having him in that role.
I know.
And he played it very well.
I know. I know.
You're like, what have you been hiding?
No, right? Like, and then where did we watch this? I didn't even write it down.
Prime with ads.
Prime with ads. There you go. And
The scowl is for the ads.
Right. Right. The budget was $10 million and it only grossed 18.
You know, I remember it being like advertised, and even the word of mouth was good. I don't recall why it wouldn't perform. When was it released? Like what?
2020.
I mean, like the month.
Like, was it during
I have
COVID?
no idea.
Like March,
I think it was
after March?
during COVID. Because
Okay.
I remember it coming out like in the midst of everything.
Then that might be probably why a lot of people didn't see it.
That would be my assumption because it's very well done. It's very
Unless, I mean, I'm sure that guys were like, I don't want to go see.
good. I don't want to go.
I don't want to see a movie about a woman.
About facing the stuff that me and the guys do.
Your guy impersonations.
What? It's just how dudes talk, bro.
Well, at least it's not like Gen Alpha where it's everything is bruh.
6'7".
It's like, dude, shut the fuck up. Just shut the fuck. As soon as you're going to say, bruh, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Shut it.
I started saying it ironically,
Yeah.
and now I fear that it is part of my daily vernacular to say bruh at least once.
You can't say it every other fucking sentence.
Yeah.
Okay? That's the problem. You know, going ahead and saying, hey, dude, what's going on? Da-da-da. Hey, bro, what are you doing over there? Ba-da-da. Fine. Bruh, Crispy's treats are great. Hey, bruh, this is so good.
Yo, bruh.
Shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Anyway, sorry.
I never thought you would get so angry over bruh.
It's true.
That is
It's
so
just so
funny.
fucking stupid.
We're not going to figure out what else makes him angry.
Oh, yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
not do that.
We'll keep going.
No, I just, just shut the fuck up. That's all.
Exactly.
Just,
And that's a message to all of our male viewers.
Who say, bruh.
yeah, if you're
Just in general.
if you're a woman doing that, that's just concerning.
Oh, no.
That does me a concern.
I guess I got to stop saying that, bro.
Ugh. But it's like, you know, when you walk in, because in my job I have to visit a lot of schools, and you
that's
just
all you
hear
hear.
every other damn sentence.
Yeah. No, we're the old people now, though. Because that used to be the thing when I was a kid. Stop saying swag, stop saying YOLO every 5 seconds.
We were teaching when that was going on.
You may have been.
All right. So let's get on with the movie.
Let's get going. Perfect. So it opens up to a club, right?
With a bunch of old men dancing. Too close shots, like 2 close-up shots, should not have happened.
Yeah. It sets the mood of I'm uncomfy right off the bat.
I thought it was good because it was you know, realistic, I should say.
Yeah.
That's why
absolutely.
made it uncomfortable. That's what made it uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was like, oh no. And you pan over to these 3 guys who are talking at the bar.
All green flags.
Right. They're talking
Sarcasm.
about how their female coworker is complaining because they hold their meetings at the golf club. I don't know if you guys caught their actual
Yeah.
conversation that they were having, but they're like, she just needs to fucking get over it. I know the golf club only has men allowed or whatever, but like, it's not even a big deal. So it sets the bar of like, okay,
Yeah.
Right.
bunch of douchebags off the bat.
I did not like my gender. Like, as soon as they were like the way they portrayed the dudes, I'm like, God, I know those kind of dudes.
Yep.
Well,
Like, they just suck.
They do.
Well,
it's
and
so
then
accurate.
And then the following conversation when they pan over and they see the girl, you know, almost passing out, like barely holding on.
Right.
Adam's Brody character, I can't remember what his name was. Jerry. Jerry. Jerry.
Oh, that's right.
He was like his friend was like, oh, I need to go over and help her and hit it and da-da-da and all this other stuff, you know?
Right. They were saying, like, nasty stuff about her, like...
But then Jerry was like, oh, no, don't do that. I'm the nice guy. I'll make sure she's
home
okay.
safe and make sure she's okay. And you're like, oh, right. All the women in the audience were like,
oh, thank you. But then he turns for the worst in the cab.
In the cab, yeah, where he instead puts his directions to get home in. And then takes her to his house, where he overpours her a drink.
Gives her another drink.
And
even though she's like looking like she's like
on the verge of like throwing up. And then he says, you're so pretty. I'm like, what the fuck?
Right.
She looks like a raccoon had a bad day.
Yeah. Well, and that's always the line. Oh, you're so beautiful. That means I can do whatever I want to you, right?
Because
I just called you pretty.
Called you pretty.
Because I can do that now. And I mean, that's what he does. He's like, starts kissing her, brings her to the bed because she's like, I need to lie down. So he's like, oh, bingo, perfect. Takes her to bed, starts like going down.
Takes off her underwear.
Right. And then that's when she's like, she keeps repeating, like, what are you doing?
What? Yeah, like, and he's like, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
You're safe. You're safe. You're fine.
Safe.
You're okay. And then the last point, she just sits up. She goes, I said, what are you doing? In a completely sober voice. And it really is jarring.
Yeah.
I'd like to be like, oh. Like, I know why all the men are just, like, freaked out immediately because, like, that switch of being like, oh, my God.
That was so good for her, though. I mean,
yeah.
Well, I mean, I feel like it was like one of those cookie jar moments where it's like you're with your hand in the cookie jar, like, oh shit, I was got caught being an asshole.
In the nookie jar?
And almost date raped a girl, and now, holy fuck.
And now
she's actually going to remember it because she's not even drunk.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. But she wasn't drunk. She was sober, and it's her whole shtick.
And then you see her mark the journal.
Then she walks home. She scares the construction workers that Kat calls her. And then she marks it in her notebook, which we never really do understand.
Yeah.
I really don't think she was killing anybody.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Up until the end.
Even in the end, she was just going to scar the dude.
Right. She was just going to carve
and because like with the alcohol, she just made them pass out. Right. It pretty much.
Yeah, I wanted more.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like it was more realistic though, because if she were going around killing these men, I don't know. This would have been a
badass
movie,
woman
for real.
well, it's kind of like maybe they didn't want to be like I Spit on Your Grave or any of those other rape and revenge flicks that were in the 70s. So
I guess this was all about trying to figure out who was involved, and then.
Well, I think originally it's just a way to get back at men for thinking that they can do what they want so that they'll think twice the next time.
Like every single character that went, whoa, you're sober? I'm like, dude.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and I think that'll make them, I think subconsciously going through that, those men now are going to think next time, is this person also sober? And didn't think, and like will think twice about fucking doing something like that because they're...
Well, even that guy at the
end. Well, they're predators, like straight up.
Well, even the guy,
absolutely.
Well, even the guy at the end when his friend, the guy from the very first, the guy from the very first scene, she meets him back at a bar, right?
I don't know.
And then she sees Ryan because Ryan goes to that bar.
Oh, we're way ahead.
I know, but I'm saying I was bringing it back there because, like, after she revealed that she wasn't drunk, he was just like, "You're a psycho," and tried to like turn it back on her, like, "Why do you do that?" And then she's like, "Because then you think twice about doing this shit."
Yeah.
But it didn't seem to kind of affect him in a way, or maybe it did. I don't know.
Are you talking about the man with the fedora?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know, because he was like, in that conversation, he was like, "Well, you're lying." And she goes, "Okay, try it out." Like, because she was like, take a step further, some people will cut your junk off. And he's like, "You're lying." And she's like, "All right, find out. Fuck around and find out."
Right.
And I think that will stick with him. I don't know. We don't get to see the payoff of...
We don't get to know.
But I don't think that was the
All right, back to the beginning.
Yeah, back to the beginning. So she's checking lists. Do.
Not like Steve Buscemi though. You laughed, so I thought you were going to say
He's like, help me out.
Billy Madison. He didn't like all his bullies, and he was going through, and then he put lipstick on.
I don't remember. Maybe I need to watch Billy Madison again because I don't remember that at all.
Oh man, it's so funny. Just
Ooh.
like he calls up to apologize, and then he's like, "Oh, I don't have to kill him,"
Oh
and that's
my
why he shows
God.
up at the end to help him by shooting the one.
What in the world? Anywho, all right. We need to watch Billy Madison, apparently.
Shampoo is
then-
better. No.
So then we cut to her and find out that she went to med school, right?
Right, because
Yeah.
she's working at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
And everyone's like, girl, why are you working here? You're too smart to be working here.
Right.
It's a shit job. Even her boss is like, should I just fire you? Would that
Yeah.
help you move on? Her parents are very concerned
Concerned.
because she like has no ambitions.
Right.
Really.
She just wants to do what she's doing.
Right.
So then how did she pay for the other people that were on her docket?
Probably saved up.
Yeah.
That's why she couldn't do it right away.
Yeah.
Right. And she needed that access again, maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But then Ryan comes in the store.
Right. And we get lovely, cute Ryan who comes in and they have a cute little back and forth where she's mean to him and he digs it. Like she spits in his coffee
He
and he
drinks
drinks
it.
it.
And like part of you wants to like
It's so
root for him and be like, oh, he's a green flag. But with already the premise of the beginning of the movie, you're like, okay, he's not.
Right.
False
There's
green
like
flag.
an iffy. Right. Because I remember watching this the first time and I was like, immediately put off. I was like, he's not. He's going to be one of those nice guys. And then as the film goes on, I was like, oh, I'm in her mindset, which is that every man is an asshole.
Right.
And I'm being
Right.
overly critical. Anywho. So he asked her
Long
out.
pause of self-reflection right there.
Yeah. Well, it was more of just the future of the film than,
I was pushing for him to be a false green flag the whole time, just saying.
Yeah.
I was like, no.
Well, like I immediately thought he was a false green flag. And then somewhere I was just like, okay, but why is he pretending? Like, what was his role in everything that went down? And I even had like a few notes on that. But
Right, 'cause,
get
I mean,
to that.
He didn't even try to hide being affiliated with them.
Right.
He openly was like, oh, do you actually talk to anybody from back then? I'm, so-and-so just had twins. Al Monroe's about to get married.
Right.
And that's what kind of triggers her, I think, to go look up and set her plan in place. Or start enacting what she had planned.
Right, because I think definitely she did in her little notebook had like a plan beforehand how to try to get back at these people, but not really specific about how until Ryan came back into the picture.
Right.
And then he tried to play it off. He's like, and your friend, didn't you hang out with that such and such and that other girl?
Madison and that other girl. She's like, no.
She's like, fucking Nina.
So I thought she was fishing when she was going out to those clubs, trying to find like any of that group at one point.
I really don't think so. I think she was just getting back at men as a whole because of what happened to Nina.
Yeah, because there was also a lot of checks too. So I'm assuming that she never went to the same club twice.
A lot of checks?
Checks.
Oh, so like,
the
I see
tally
what you're
marks,
saying.
I'm
right,
sorry.
she can't go to the, yeah. No, I know my brain malfunctioned there. My bad. But like, yeah, there was over 100. Can't go to the same bar.
Right. That's
And
suspicious.
this had to have been going on for a long time too, to not also get caught by like regular people.
Right. And her parents were like, yeah, she's been like, she'll come in, she'll leave, and then she'll disappear again and then come back and leave,
Right. It's gotta be exhausting. But yeah. Anywho, so we see a ton of these like encounters with men, and you get all the different archetypes of like just straight up assholes, I'm such a nice guy.
Oh, yeah.
I woke you up before I tried to rape you.
Don't I get points for that?
Right.
Oh yeah, that makes it so much better.
Yeah, the self-proclaiming of being a nice guy too is what gets me.
If somebody tells you they're a nice guy, run.
They never are.
The ones who are nice guys don't go around and say it.
Mm-hmm.
They actually show you that they're nice.
Yeah, they don't have to say it.
Like my husband.
Fuck all of you. See, that's you just got to be nasty right away, and then there you go.
I mean, he did leave
leave
me on our first date in the middle of a horror trail.
Well, did you deserve it? What were you wearing?
That's what you get for dressing like Velma. Get chased by ghosts.
But we also see, so she goes on a bunch of really shitty, we see this happen a couple of times. We also see that, does she start enacting her plan, like, goes and out with Madison before?
Madison was the first one.
Madison was the
Yeah.
first
And
one.
she went out with Madison after Ryan. So I'm thinking what happened was that when Ryan appeared in the coffee shop, things just kind of like triggered and set her plans in motion.
Right.
Because I think because he even said something about, he's getting married
And she's having twins.
and I'm pretty sure if I was in that similar situation, here I am still like, my friend from childhood killed herself, as we were assuming. They never really told us.
She did.
Okay. And then, la-di-da, la-di-da. And then you find out the person who did it to her is having this, like, is getting married and have this whole nice life. And there your friend is in the grave. I think that would have triggered her to start enacting her plan.
Right.
So my fan theory is I'm still going to think maybe she was fishing, going club to club to club, trying to find them doing the same thing. And then she took a job at that coffee shop knowing that he frequented it. And that she was actually toying with him, knowing that, I need to get information eventually. It just felt too
I think that she's smart, but I think
too
that
coincidental.
I don't know. I think that that moment where she learned that he was still friends with everyone from back then was too, like much of a shock moment. Because we get that kind of, like, almost like that zoom in on her face where the mumbling, whatever. Plus, she originally gave him a false number.
That's true. Because, like, it did make it sound like, I didn't know that you'd be associated.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which to me is weird because everything else would have been like a grand, like, chess master type of thing, which I was really hoping for.
I mean, regardless, she is very intelligent, obviously.
Right.
Med school dropout is going to be very smart. And everything else that she did was very freaking meticulous. Like, the whole setup with Madison at the restaurant, getting her insanely drunk and then putting her in that same position to show her what it was like for Nina to have no one believe her.
And she, like, laughed at her because, like, she was just like, and you laughed at her too? You didn't believe her?
Right.
So she put her in that same situation. So I think the revenge for her was more about putting the few people in the same situation, because when she did the dean
with the daughter,
like, she's like, I dropped her off at a frat party with those guys.
Right, with the same type of guys that you say are wonderful, outstanding gentlemen that would never do something like that. And we have to think about they would never, of course. So why are you so afraid for your daughter?
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, wait, you don't believe me? Call her phone. I got her phone.
Oh, I have, silly me, I have her phone. And, like, man, the whole setup of it is just,
Yeah, and
I
the
mean,
last enabler, sorry. Go ahead. Okay. The last enabler was the lawyer.
Right.
Played by Alfred Molina.
And he was actually
awesome work.
And he was actually like, he was just like, he knew it. He was like, as soon as he saw it, he's like, yeah, my day of reckoning has come. Come on, just go ahead and kill me.
Right. He's like, I've been waiting for it.
because I know
can't sleep at night knowing that I've done this to all these women.
Right.
Because he like goes off, and it's kind of horrible to sit there and listen to what he says, because he's a lawyer who helps these men get out of rape charges and abuse charges. And in doing so, like, they dig up all of the dirt on the female to like pressure and bully her to drop the case.
Right.
Yeah.
Make her feel like she's shit.
Right.
But then,
which is just horrible.
But then the law firm that he works for gives him incentives to do that.
And this is what's interesting, because you learn later on that what's it? Oh my God, I totally blanked on the name. But you find out Cassandra's friend, Nina, thank you. I kept on saying Nicole in my head and I couldn't get out of it. So Nina is dead, but you don't know how. But I feel like that suggestion was that she committed suicide because of the pressure of the legal, and that's why she was really gunning for him.
Right.
Unlike, he just defended the case and was able to kind of push it away.
Well, I mean, either way, I probably would have went after the lawyer because he was a piece of shit defending these guys. And I'm sure he wouldn't be the first one to be defended. But yeah, I can see where if he was the catalyst to her demise.
Right. If he was pulling up all of this dirt on her that made her feel like, first of all, she didn't have anyone she could talk to. Madison, who they were friends with, didn't believe her. Her, like, the dean of the school was not backing her up. This lawyer just kept digging up more dirt on her to make her feel worse. The only person that believed her was Cassie.
Right.
But how much, I mean, at the end of the day, it kind of sucks, but how much can one other person do to help hold you up when you're drowning like that? Like,
especially with like the pressure. And I'm sure like, and the dean was like, oh, well, I don't want to ruin a reputation of one of these guys.
Yep.
Yeah. We have to give them benefit of the doubt.
Benefit of the doubt.
I get that, but at the same time, hello.
Yeah.
Maybe they shouldn't put themselves in that situation.
Right. But, it's just the amount of narratives that are sprinkled throughout of, like, what women are told versus what men are told. Like, even at the very end when it's like, when he kills someone and they're like, it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
Yeah.
It's not even a big deal. Like, it's not, it's fine.
He's blubbering.
They're
like
coddling the men.
Yeah.
And blaming the women.
Right.
All the time.
Up until, so like, even though Cassie believed her and was the only one, things didn't really come to fruition until Madison remembers that she had the video of that night.
Right. And by this point, her, Cassie and Ryan are like happily together. Like she's finally kind of let it go. Because like she visits Nina's mom.
Right.
Who's like, hey, let it go. She's like, okay, I'm going to try just living. Right. She seems happy.
And then she starts actually dating Ryan.
Yeah.
He goes to the house. He meets the parents. With her, it's a big, huge deal because, again, that was probably the only guy she ever brought home. And she's 30.
Right. It's a cute little montage.
Right. And then here comes Madison. Oh, by the way.
There was a video of the assault.
Don't watch it. I wouldn't watch it. Well, come on, please.
Right.
Anybody would have watched. I would have watched it.
Right. If you say, hey, like this happened, and now here's your physical evidence, here's the proof that it happened, but don't watch it, I'd be like, you're joking, right? Like, I don't know.
But then she watches it. And then this is where Ryan Green persona is now gone.
Ryan.
For sure.
Yeah. Because who's in the video? Watching? Bystanding?
Not doing anything about it.
Ryan. And what's his defense?
I was just a kid. I was just a kid.
Yeah.
I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't do anything. I was just standing there.
Exactly. You didn't do anything.
Really?
And I get that, like, as, like if you're in a fraternity or whatever, or like a group of people, like, and one person's doing something wrong, but who stands up to that, But at the same time but here he is an adult. I was just a kid. I didn't know better.
Yes, you did.
You did know better.
You knew better.
You knew better.
That's because even in the video, he was sitting there like, oh, man, like kind of joking about it, but kind of being like,
It's so messed up, man.
It's messed up. Like, you knew.
But again, it was like the joking kind of like, you messed up.
Right. Right.
Not like anger. You know what I mean?
Right.
So.
Because none of them care about the consequences until it can actually affect them. Like, oh, you're a doctor with a real life job now, and this could affect you. And now you know care.
What? I'm gonna post this in email to all your contacts. Wait,
yep.
What? Oh, I was just a kid. I'm sorry.
Right.
When you when you are 18, you are no longer a kid.
Nope.
You are very fully aware of your things.
Right. Your choices. And guess what? Choices have consequences.
Right.
So,
fuck around and find out.
For real. And that is literally what they did. So, but she does use it as blackmail to get the address to Al Monroe's bachelor party.
And why didn't we have more Molotov cocktails? I don't understand. Like, I don't know. Well, go ahead. Sorry.
Honestly, I think because, okay, so she goes to the bachelor party.
Dressed up as a stripper.
Dressed up as a stripper. She drugs all of the bridesmen. What?
Groomsmen.
Those dudes.
The bridal boys.
The bridal boys. Oh, I like that. The bridal boys. And then takes Al Monroe to the room. Now, he wants to sit here and say, oh, I'm a changed man. Really, I love my fiance. I don't want to do anything. Like, who ordered the stripper? It couldn't be me. Couldn't be any of my friends, blah, blah, blah. And so she drugs all of the groomsmen, takes him upstairs, handcuffs him to the bed, which she's just like, oh, it's for my safety.
Right. She makes him believe that it's for her safety and that he should be doing this because she says so.
Right.
But like all playing on him.
Then she kind of lets him squirm. Like she starts revealing, or no, she reveals her name as being
right. Because at first he's like, "What's your name, Candy?" No, what's your real name, Nina?
And he's like, "Sorry, what the fuck did you just say?" And she's like,
Nina, what do you mean?
He's like, "This is a sick joke. This is some sort of sick joke."
What do you mean?
Which really sucks because the entire time he starts immediately freaking out at that name.
Yeah,
and it just shows that he knows what he did was wrong.
And he's been thinking about it.
Right. And that just hearing that name makes him feel guilty. That's what that reaction was.
Oh, yeah. He gets all sobby.
Yeah. Stop crying.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. And then she tries to carve Nina's name into him.
Yeah, he pulls away from the cheap handcuffs, which is like, I would have thought he would use at least, metal. Or the lock breaks, one of the two.
She's posing as a stripper.
Right.
What could you feasibly get
well,
away with?
So
you could get real straight like handcuffs and then just put like pink ribbon around.
Right.
That's exactly what I was about to say. Yeah.
But the thing is though, like, why? Like, I know why she wanted to carve Nina's name into him, but what would have that really?
I mean, for what she had just said, I don't think she thought she was getting out of it. I really don't.
So, sorry, I just started because I was thinking, was she going to carve it the right way? So when you looked in the mirror, it was backwards, and she's going to be like, "Oh shit, I got to do this again. Hold on, let me scratch it out."
Well, he's not carving it into himself. It should be,
Right. Like, I was just thinking, like, was she going to do it the right way? Because it looked like she was about to start with the N. That should be more of the A, because when she looks in the mirror, it's going to, oh no, don't, you're about to be attacked. What are you doing? That's how that scene went for me.
You got too sucked into the, how's that going to work? Well, she was explaining to him that whose name does she always hear? His. Over and over and over again. Which is why she wanted to carve Nina's name into him, because either he'd have to live with her name all over him, which is how she was feeling when she died, or he would die. And, that's fine. That's chill too.
But instead
she died.
She died. He broke out he suffocated her.
Yeah, one wrist, and then he decided to put a knee right over a pillow in her head while holding the other 2 arms.
Yep. 2.5 minutes. That's how long that scene lasted. And that's because the director, Emerald, discussed with her father-in-law, who is a retired police officer, and asked about how long it would take to suffocate somebody. And it's about 2.5 minutes.
Yeah. Well, that's in Casino Royale, they show that James Bond didn't wait long enough to put the guy's head in the water. So he came out of it, went to try to shoot him, and then that starts the scene, bang.
I've never seen a James Bond film.
We end this right here. No, just kidding.
I will just be. Bye. I'll be on my way.
All right, so you think it's over when she dies.
Right. Because you're like, oh my God.
This is the end of the movie.
She's dead. He fucking killed her.
And then Joe comes in and he's like, oh, it wasn't your fault. It wasn't your fault.
Right.
You were
Such
just a
annoying
kid.
asshole.
It's okay. You're still just a kid. Why not? Because let's never actually
Be
hold
adults.
accountability or place blame where it belongs. Like,
Fantilizing.
right. To be fair, was it self-defense? A little bit.
Yeah, but with not reasonable outcome. Like, a reasonable outcome if somebody's
She had a scalpel over
She
him.
did.
Like, I don't know.
Was it reason? Yes. However, it's instead of saying, hey, let's logic this out and reason it out, it is.
I mean, he could have just held her hand, like arms, and been fine. He didn't have to, like,
Yeah.
suffocate
Well,
her.
he's a piece of shit, but
But
at
yeah,
the same
I mean,
token,
the reason why he did it is because he is a piece of shit.
Yeah. He is a piece of shit.
He didn't want to
The
face
verdict
his
is
problems head on. So,
Right.
all right. So that happens.
And then they burn the body.
They burned the body.
her body.
Her body.
But you know what? Jewelry doesn't burn.
Nope.
Yeah, we
Right.
learned that from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Which is why her necklace was in the ashes.
Yeah.
Right. And so she had a one of those like friendship heart necklaces. One said Nina and the other one said
Cassie.
Cassie. She left the Cassie one
With her boss.
with her boss.
Gail. Yes, and she wore the Nina one, which did not burn in the fire, which is important because she had sent a note and the tape to that lawyer dude who she ended up not killing as a, hey, if I don't show up.
Right. And
All
then
of
she
the
scheduled
defense.
some texts to
To Ryan to be like, hey,
It's not
thought this
over.
was over? No, it ain't. Fuck you.
And then
Dun, 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 dun.
after that, the sirens come, and then that's when I started crying, actually, because it was just like, yeah, I cried because it was just so like she just got justice. She had
Yeah.
to kill herself. She had to get herself killed for her friend,
To finally get justice. And I think that's why she didn't burn the house down or outright try to kill any of the men. It wasn't about murder. It was about getting justice for Nina. About putting him behind bars.
Well, no. I call a flag on that. The only reason why is because she scheduled the text in the event of my disappearance. So it was only if something screwed up, which it did. So it turned the whole
I don't
movie.
think she was going to murder him in the first place, though.
No,
I think she was just going to carve. It was about Nina. So it was
Right.
like she was either going to carve Nina's name into him and be like, permanent fucking reminder,
Yeah.
I ruined your day, whatever. Or she knew she was going to die and ruined his life anyway because he's going to jail.
I think
for
that was
murder.
her backup. Like if her plan screwed up, because it's like,
Right. Because, like, I mean, you can schedule a text and then, like, realize that you don't need it and you can unschedule it. You can delete it.
yeah. The only other thing is, too, what's weird is she scheduled text, but then they said she turned her phone off before she left. She doesn't seem like she
Do
wanted to.
scheduled texts send if your phone is off?
No, I don't think so.
sure?
I think they do.
Let's test
that
this
might be a
theory.
goof.
I'll have to test.
I don't know.
my
Or
phone is-
I can just look it up.
Or we can just do that.
I can just look it up.
I should rather test it
I
out.
may have found a goof. There was a goofings.
Can scheduled texts be sent with phone off? The moment we've all been waiting for. Yes.
Really?
Yes, they can.
Because as
Snap! I learned something new.
The messaging app stores the message and then sends it when your phone is reconnected. So if they
When your phone's reconnected.
if they turned her phone back on because they had her phone, it would send the message.
Yeah, I'm gonna say not established. Not established by the movie. They said they turned her phone. Her phone was off.
All right.
The last triangulation was before she left. But then wouldn't it be in her room?
Huh?
Wouldn't it be in her room then? Because that's where she would be. I don't know.
Well, they had found her phone. I thought.
No, they just talked about saying her phone was off the last it was pinged.
Right. I mean,
But then they said before she left.
Well, I mean, if anything, they found her car because she definitely didn't take her phone into the.
Right, and the keys were with the car.
Yeah,
Right.
she tossed the license plate.
Yeah, but the keys were on top of the tire.
She did the hide a key thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's weird.
Anyhow,
I need to talk to the writer.
That car.
the critique.
All right.
Okay. So, starting with screenplay. I gave it an 8 out of 10. I definitely think there were some moments of just, it was very well written. It made a lot of sense from being a woman, just what the daily strife of dating men is like. They're all assholes, except Nick. I guess.
We love you.
I guess.
At least I love you.
Toby loves you.
Just looking at Toby on the bench.
I was over on the bench.
All right.
But there were some goofs, I think.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 as well.
8 out of 10, but I already said why.
Right.
Yeah, we've
That and I wanted her to live and then kind of be more Schwarzenegger and just waylay.
Right. There was a moment where in the fun facts I was reading that the writer-director was trying to find a way where she would survive out of that situation. And she was like, it just wouldn't be realistic for her to survive.
Well, especially after those 2 knee pumps at the end where she's dead. And I'm like, God, it's really dead.
And, I mean, if you think about the guy that killed her, what would he do in that situation? He'd kill the bitch.
Yeah.
The other thing is, too, is the fact that he didn't show her face after lifting up the pillow, suggesting that it was really
that it
wrecked.
wasn't good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. So I think it's a sad time. But anyhow. Direction. I gave it a 10 out of 10.
I gave it a 10 out of 10 as well.
I gave it a 9 out of 10. Because you know what really was I know they were trying to send more these guys are infantilized, which I agree. We see it with discipline issues not being done in schools. But when the guy in the fedora ran off and he's just like, and I'm like, okay, that was a little ham-handed.
I think some of it was a bit hyperbole, but also, I don't know.
It just took me out a bit. And I was like, no, I'm into this thing. Don't do stuff like that. I get the message. Let's roll. But it's all right.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I mean, I understand why they gave her the suitcase, but because that was definitely a director thing. But I don't know.
Oh, just get over it.
Yeah.
Move out of the house. Get over yourself. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the house was so old looking in the time that it was supposed to be in. Just because it kind of made it feel more like, oh, look, these parents are super old fashioned. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. They're telling her daughter to get over it. Her friend, got raped and committed suicide. Big deal.
Big deal. Happens all the time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All
right, acting.
I gave that a 10 out of 10 too.
I give it a 10 out of 10. They really did a good job with their characters.
9 out of 10. Only because, like I said, there's those little...
Yeah. It gave me the ick with a lot of those men. I was like, I know that one. I know that
Especially
one. I know
Ryan.
that one. I know that one. Ryan really, watching the first time, suspicious. And then I was like, oh, that's my bad. And then I just got pissed. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I had changed my mind on you, Ryan. Why would you do this? The heartbreak. Cinematography?
I gave it an 8 out of 10. There was maybe 1 or 2 cool shots, the one that when she was on the bed laying down, the camera from up above. But other than that, they were all just kind of generic.
I gave it a 9. I thought they weren't like super spectacular, but I thought there were a few like really nice close-up shots. I thought the lighting was really good. I thought like the few scene like where she freaking went off the handle in that one scene and hit
just started bashing
car and it followed her
that was
around.
kind of like
that one was a little bit out of pocket. I felt
that,
like,
and they didn't explain why she was completely out on the steering wheel. Like,
I think she was just. I think it was just to show that she was spiraling, but
it just there was no connection to the spiral. It's just like, and spiral. And it's like, okay, whoa. Little
Well, and then like
too much.
picking up on the red flag where when after she meets Ryan, there's like some red, things going on. She goes to the office, there's a red balloon.
yeah.
And that literal red flag.
There was
her.
a literal red flag outside of his apartment. Crazy. Editing?
Oh, I gave it a 9 out of 10 for cinematography, by
Oh,
the way.
okay. I was like, wait,
yeah.
sorry. My pause was like,
good.
are we finished? I don't know. Sorry.
No, that's a 9 out of 10. I'm good.
All right, editing. You can go first.
Oh, I gave it an 8 out of 10 for what I was mentioning there. Just not connecting certain points, but otherwise it was very good.
I give it a 10 out of 10 because it was evenly paced, and there wasn't a time when I was just like, why?
Right. I also gave it a 9 out of 10, I think, for what Nick said as well. Like, some things, the connection wasn't quite there.
All right, music.
I gave it a 10 out of 10. I thought they did great picks.
Yeah,
I thought
made me very emotional at the end.
I thought the evil, toxic version,
Yeah.
as she's, like, spiraling, walking into the cabin, like...
Yeah.
Using a quartet full
Yeah,
things. So I was thinking like it's a bachelor party. Weddings get quartets, and then they chose toxic, and I'm like, that's funny.
Yeah.
Like
that was
they
good.
really did a lot of connection there.
I loved it. What'd you give it?
Oh, 9 out of 10. I really, really like the music throughout.
Yeah. It was a jam. And then there weren't any special effects, right?
No, I didn't see it.
Not unless you count the makeup on the pillow, but that was about it. Oh, in the
They had bruises.
the arm.
Like he had bruises around his thing from the handcuff, and like her bruises. But I mean, that was pretty much it.
Can't really
for
what
much to go off
effects they did fine. I would say 8 out of 10. The hand looked like a bloated piece of hand that was lying in the river.
Yeah. No.
Oh, that's true. I didn't give it a score.
I also didn't. I felt like there wasn't enough to go off of, but makeup was great.
All right, overall,
I give it a 9 out of 10.
9 out of 10.
And I said I would keep it.
9 out of 10. I would keep it, and you can watch this before or after Barbie.
It's a heavy day.
I said I would stream it, but I would like if I had a teenage daughter, or a teenage son, I would make him watch it.
Yeah. What'd you give it?
9 out of 10.
Nice.
No, seriously. I think it kind of has like those messages are well fit together so much that I'm like, that wouldn't be a bad little marathon there to add those two movies together. Because then you can use either, you use it before to let Barbie be your palate cleanser, which would probably be the better way to go.
I did cry on both of them.
Or you could do it beforehand, or even 9 to 5. That'd be good. Like a good little mini marathon. 9 to 5, Barbie, and a promising young woman.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good set, I think.
Yeah, there you go. 3 movies for you.
There you go. All highly recommended.
Yeah.
Especially for women.
Any fun facts? I don't think we listed.
I
She
peppered them in. I did miss one though. Emerald Fennell is the first woman to be nominated for an Academy Award for Best Director for a debut film.
Nice.
For this,
nice.
so I figured that would fit with our theme too. She's also like 6th or 7th to be nominated for an Oscar for director, being a female in general. So
Nice.
Wow.
which
So
is kind of crazy.
yeah.
When I'm thinking about it, I was like, what? No, there's got to be more female directors, but not really, is there?
And I don't see that changing anytime soon.
Yeah. I mean, just off the top of my head, I'm like, who would be our upcoming female directors? Like
who?
Zoe Kravitz.
I haven't
for
seen that
Blink
yet,
Twice.
but yes.
Yeah.
What about Wild?
Yeah.
Was that?
Which one?
Isn't there a one Wild?
I'd have to see. I'd have to see.
I don't remember her name. Who directed Barbie?
Oh,
Isn't it Olivia Wilde or something like that?
no.
No, she did something else.
I see what you're saying. Olivia Wilde for a director. Nah. She's had some drama with.
Right. But who? She's not the one who directed Barbie.
No, it was. Good Lord, I feel bad now. I
love
could see
Barbie.
her. Just edit this out.
No, it's okay. Where are we at? Greta Gerwig.
Greta, thank you.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Doy.
And I was looking like it was weird. I hate when I could see them and I just
Yeah,
names
where
like,
you can
nope.
see their face and
Yeah.
you just their names are. Yeah, that happens. But I mean, there's not a lot of female directors.
Yeah.
Toby's like, we're done. Stop talking about women. Just kidding. He loves me.
Well,
All right. Meow.
that's it. International Women's Day. That's it.
Atta girl.
Empower each other. Don't bring each other down. Don't be a
Yeah.
single white female.
Don't be a Roz.
So let's do a little bit of history to hit it out. So in the United States, before the United States was the United States, you had in the 1643, don't quote me on that, they had just earned the right to not have their husbands give them stripes, which also means like flogging and whipping. And then like blasted in the future, they were finally able to have economy. And then in the 70s, they were able to, well, of course, we already know they got voting rights in the 20s. But then in the 70s, a little bit before our movie 9 to 5 in 1973 or 2, they got the rights to have a credit card, pretty much.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Right.
At the same time, Roe v. Wade and those other stuff that recently has been challenged the way it's been challenged because the Supreme Court's a bunch of fucking idiots.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is that you could see like the progress where they were trying to go forward, and then you had things like the Comstock Act where it brought them down, which they never just struck the bad law, which they cited a few times in another spat with the Supreme Court and dealing with contraception. But in the end, I think slowly but surely we'll get things right, with women's rights here.
It started going up here, and now we're going down at a sharp like.
Well, and the good news is this stuff is temporary, and all these guys that are cheering it on, thinking this is going to be the way things are. It's like, no, you're just a shit stain in history until we move to the next part of it.
Get right.
Yeah. So,
Because I mean, the good thing is that nobody is lying down. We're fighting.
Right.
yeah.
I mean, there's always a step back before a big leap forward,
True.
There's a lot of promising young women out there, and they're working 9 to 5.
Hey, there we go. Wrap it up, boys. We did
I'm out.
it. Mic drop.